So I settled into my seats with my my official UFC program, which cost £20. Which cost £15 even. That's £10 more than it cost for UFC 85. But my friend Kaz told me it's £5 less than what they charged last time in the UK. I think it's very pricey. I would not pay over £15 for it. That was really the maximum. I felt bad paying that. They've also got it totally the wrong way around, because they start off their thing with the main event, which of course happens last. So really, they should start off with the undercard. There are a few adverts, and there are a few just pictures of things. There's a roundup of UFC 119 at the back for some reason. But anyway, there we are. So the first fight of the night for us was James McSweeney versus Fabio Maldonado. Now, I'm not really a fan of either. I don't really know them at all. James McSweeney I've heard of, know a little bit about. Fabio Maldonado, don't know anything about at all, really. The undercard can be explained in two ways. The first few fights were tempered with what I would call bad behaviour in ring, really. I don't care what your excuse is. I don't think you should really be, tapping your chin during the fight and, dropping your hands and saying, "Go on then, hit me," sort of thing. A little bit melodramatic. Think the end of Bisping Lieben. Not quite as bad as that. But Maldonado really was, during the third round, hit me, hit me, hit me, sort of thing. And of course, he ended up winning. Now, I think McSweeney had probably done enough to be winning up until the third round. But there we are. Sherdog has said that they think that McSweeney sort of gassed a little. Do you know, I can't remember much about that one, so there we are. The second bout of the night was Spencer Fisher versus Kurt Warburton. I have to say that I was a little bit surprised when I first found out about UFC 120 to see Spencer Fisher so low on the card. Now I think I understand why. He comes before both of the Cage Gladiator alumni, which I know and remember from my time at Cage Gladiators visiting. Kurt Warburton, I think, was supposed to be obliterated by Spencer Fisher, and he wasn't. Okay, Fisher got the decision, but Kurt Warburton was just, he wasn't going to die at all. In fact, Sherdog has given rounds 1 and 2 to Warburton, and only round 3 to Fisher. I think Fisher probably deserves to win, because I think he was more technical and actually delivered the beating. Kurt Warburton showed heart in that he could take a beating and he wouldn't be destroyed. I don't think that means that he should have won the decision. So I personally agree with the judges on that one. But there we are. I was a little bit surprised. I did think that Spencer Fisher was probably... I think Spencer Fisher probably should have finished that one. And he didn't. Credit definitely to Kurt Warburton there, but how the mighty have fallen. The next matches were very, very interesting for me. They were Mark Holst versus Paul Sass. The institution have taken a liking to Paul Sass. He was the one to come out last for this fight, and with good reason. I think that he absolutely, personally, I think it was fight of the night. but then I didn't see a lot of the next fight, as I'll explain. He was so technical and fluid. It was so extremely fast-paced. Mark Holst wasn't bad at all. They were both extremely good. But when Paul Sass got his triangle, and it slipped off, and then he tried it again and it slipped off, and then he tried it again, and he seemed to get a tap, but released it. Nobody saw it, I don't think, but he didn't release it full. So then he locked it on again, and this time he really did get the tap. So there we are, and he won by Sassangle, exactly as I had predicted. In fact, that was a first round stoppage. There we are. Rob Broughton versus Vinicius, whatever his name is. You know, I didn't see the first 2 rounds of this because I had gone outside to meet another person from the YouTube, the MMA YouTube community in this country, and that was Kaz, and it was fantastic seeing him. I can only say that when I went back in, people were extremely excited. The first 2 rounds had obviously been well accepted. Sherdog says they've given the first round to What's His Chops and the second round to Broughton. The third round was can Broughton ever manage to get the RNC or not? Eventually he did. He did keep trying several times before he actually got it, but there we are. And this was the pretty much the same sort of thing for Cyril Diabate and Alexander Gustafsson. Yes, which is on my next page. Though don't ask me why, when they have Rob Broughton versus What's His Chops on that page, they've got a picture of GSP on the other side. Anyway, so round 1, Gustafsson all the way. Round 2, it was again, Gustafsson was just trying to get the RNC for ages. You know, he tried, he lost it, he slipped off, he got the back again, he tried, and eventually he got the choke in the second round. Dan Hardy versus Carlos Condit. I had warned in my prediction video that if they weren't careful, Dan Hardy would probably be finished by Carlos Condit on the feet. I had hoped that that might not be the case, but in the first round he was just knocked out, and it was pretty dire. That was the bummer of the evening, really. I would have liked him to win, because this is now 2 losses in a row. But then one has to remember that Carlos Condit was the champion of the division in WEC. So Dan Hardy has basically fought 2 champions in his last 2 fights. I think it was a very close score, personally, because I think they were both throwing and they were both connecting, but I think whereas Bisping was possibly throwing more, Akiyama's strikes were far better, far clearer. And what with the last round, I kind of felt that Akiyama deserved to win. Of course, it was a decision Bisping in the end. I thought that was much closer than a lot of people, I think, are giving it credit for. And I don't think it stands Bisping well if he thinks he's going to get a rematch with Wanderlei Silva, because I just think, you know, well, it wasn't the huge upset defeat, brilliant, fantastic thing that I think would merit that sort of rematch. But there we are.